What was the first thing human discovered in space? The moon? The sun? The stars? Or was it something stranger? Because before rockets, before telescopes, before satellites, before anyone knew what a planet even was, humans were already trapped under the biggest mystery in existence: the sky. Every night it appeared above them, a giant black ceiling full of tiny lights. Some lights stayed fixed, some moved. One glowing thing changed shape every month. One blinding thing returned every morning. And sometimes, for no obvious reason, the sun disappeared in the middle of the day. Imagine an ancient human with no science books, no telescope, no clock, no calendar, no idea that the Earth is planet. You look up and the universe is already there. But you do not discover all of it at once. You discover it in layers. First, you notice the obvious things, then the patterns, then the expectations, then the things your eyes cannot see. And every time humans thought they had finally understood space, space got bigger. So, in what order did human discover it? Let's start at the beginning. The first object human almost certainly understood was not the stars, it was the sun. Not as ball of plasma, not as star, just as a thing that controlled everything. When it rose, the world became safe. When it set, the world became dangerous. It brought heat, it brought light, it helped plants grow, it changed the seasons. Ancient people may not have known what the sun was, but they knew life followed it. The sun was a first cosmic clock. Then came the moon. The moon was different. The sun was too bright to stare at, but the moon invited attention. It changed shape: a thin crescent, a half circle, a full glowing face. Then it vanished and returned. Over time, humans realized the moon was not random, it had rhythm. Roughly every month, it repeated itself. Before calendars were written on walls, the moon was already drawing one in the sky. It helped people track time, it helped them predict nights, it pulled attention towards cycles. And even if they did not understand gravity or tides, they understood that moon was not just random lamp. It was behaving like a pattern. Then humans discovered the stars. At first, the stars were probably just lights, tiny dots scattered across darkness. But after many nights, people noticed something strange. Most stars did not wander. They rose and set in predictable ways. They returned with seasons. They formed shapes: hunters, animals, rivers, heroes, monsters, tools, stories. Different cultures connected the dots differently, but the discovery was the same. The sky had a structure. The stars become a map. Not a map of space yet, a map for Earth. Sailors use stars to cross water. Farmers use stars to track seasons. Travelers use stars to find direction. The night sky became humanity's first navigation system. But then came the weird ones. Some stars did not stay with the others, they moved. Night after night, they wandered against the fixed background. Sometimes they moved forward, sometimes they seemed to stop, sometimes they moved backward. To ancient sky watchers, these were not ordinary stars, they were wanderers. Today, we call them planets: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. These were the planets human could see without telescopes. They look like bright stars, but they behave differently. And this was a huge discovery because it meant the sky was not one simple painted ceiling. Some objects had their own paths. Venus was especially strange. Sometimes it appeared before sunrise, sometimes after sunrise. It was bright enough to feel important. Mars was red. Jupiter was steady and brilliant. Saturn moved slowly, like it was taking its time through the sky. Humans did not yet know these were worlds, but they had discovered that heavens had moving parts. Then came eclipses. For ancient people, an eclipse must have felt like reality breaking. The sun could be eaten, the moon could turn dark red, day could become night. People feared them, recorded them, tried to predict them, and prediction changed everything. Because if something terrifying can be predicted, then maybe the sky is not a chaos. Maybe it follows rules. Ancient civilization began tracking the sky carefully. Babylonians recorded planetary motion. Egyptians aligned monuments with stars. Chinese astronomers documented comets and eclipses. Greek thinkers tried to build models of the cosmos. Indian, Islamic, Mayan, and many other astronomical traditions created calendars, calculations, and sky systems of their own. Humanity was slowly discovering something important. Space was not just beautiful, it was mathematical. But for a long time, the universe still looked small. Earth seemed central. The sky seemed wrapped around us. The stars seemed like a distant points on a sphere. The planets moved in confusing loops, and humans built complicated models to explain it. Then came one of the biggest mental jumps in history. Maybe Earth was not the center. Maybe Earth was moving too. This idea was not easy. It feels obvious now because we have seen diagrams since childhood. But imagine telling someone that the ground under their feet is spinning and also flying around the sun, and nobody can feel it. That sounds insane. But eventually, the sun centered model began to make more sense. The strange wandering of planets became easier to explain. Mars did not actually move backward. It only looked that way because the Earth was passing it in its own orbit. The sky had not changed, our viewpoint had. That was a new kind of discovery. Humans were not just discovering objects in space, they were discovering that we were also inside the system. Then the telescope arrived, and the universe immediately became rude. Because the moment humans improved their eyes, the sky started revealing things it had been hiding for thousands of years. In 1609, Galileo pointed a telescope upward, and the moon was not smooth. It had mountains, craters, shadows. The perfect heavenly object suddenly looked like a rough world. Then Jupiter revealed four tiny dots beside it. Night after night, these dots moved around Jupiter. They were moons, not around Earth, around Jupiter. This was devastating for the old idea that everything orbited us. Earth was not the only center of motion. The Venus showed phases, like the moon. That made sense if Venus orbited the sun. Saturn looked strange too. At first, people could not understand it. It seemed to have ears. Later, better telescopes revealed rings around the planet. The solar system had gone from a few wandering lights to collection of actual worlds. Then came Uranus. For all of human history, people had seen only five naked eye planets. Then in 1781, William Herschel found another one, a new planet. Not a comet, not a star, a world that had always been there, quietly waiting beyond Saturn. Imagine how strange that must have felt. The solar system had an extra room. Then, human found asteroids. Cities appeared between Mars and Jupiter. Then, more small bodies. Then, more. The neat solar system was getting messy. Then, Neptune was discovered in completely different way, not just by looking randomly, but because Uranus was not moving exactly as expected. Something unseen seemed to be pulling on it. Mathematicians predicted where another planet should be. Astronomers looked, and there it was, Neptune, a planet discovered first as a disturbance, a hidden object revealed by gravity. That changed the mood of space discovery. Humans no longer needed to see something directly to suspect it was there. Space could leave fingerprints. Then we discovered that the Milky Way was not a cloudy stain. For thousands of years, the Milky Way stretched across the sky like spilled light, a pale river, a ghostly band. Then telescopes revealed it was made of countless stars. The cloud was not a cloud, it was a crowd. So many stars blended together that the human eye could not separate them. The universe became larger again. But humans still thought the Milky Way might be everything. One giant star system, the whole universe. Then came the fuzzy patches, nebulae. Some were gas clouds, some were star clusters. But one fuzzy patch changed everything, Andromeda. For a long time, people argued about what it was. Was it inside the Milky Way? Was it a cloud? Was it a forming solar system? Or was it something far larger? In the 1920s, Edwin Hubble measured stars inside Andromeda and showed that it was far outside the Milky Way. Andromeda was not a nearby cloud, it was another galaxy, another island of stars. Suddenly, the Milky Way was not the universe, it was one galaxy among many. This might be one of the most humiliating discoveries in human history. First, Earth was not the center, then Sun was not special, then the Milky Way was not everything. Every time humans zoomed out, we became smaller. But space was not finished, because then we discovered that most of it was invisible. Radio astronomy opened a new sky. Objects that looked dark in visible light were screaming in radio waves. The universe had more than one voice. Then came X rays, gamma rays, infrared, ultraviolet. Each kind of light revealed a different universe hiding inside the same universe. The sky humans saw with their eyes was only one thin slice, like discovering you had been listening to one note of a giant song. Then, in 1965, scientists found a strange microwave glow coming from every direction. At first, it seemed like annoying background noise, but it turned out to be an ancient light, the cosmic microwave background, a faint afterglow from the early universe. This was not a planet, not a star, not a galaxy. It was a baby picture of the universe itself. Humans had discovered that the space had a past we could still see. Then the black holes moved from mathematics into reality. At first, they were strange solutions in equations, objects so dense that not even light could escape. For a long time, they sounded almost fictional, but evidence grew. Stars orbiting invisible masses, X rays from material falling into darkness, galaxies powered by monsters in their centers. Then, in 2019, humans produced the first image of the black hole's shadow. Not a photo of the hole itself, because the hole gives us nothing, but the glowing material around it revealed the outline of the darkness. We had discovered an object by seeing the place where light failed. Then came exoplanets. For centuries, people wondered if other stars had worlds around them. It seemed reasonable, but proving it was hard. Stars are bright, planets are tiny. Trying to see a planet next to a distant star is like trying to see a speck of dust beside a lighthouse. But in the 1990s, the first confirmed planets around the Sun like star were found. And then the number exploded. Hot Jupiters, super Earths, mini Neptunes, planets around red dwarfs, planets in systems nothing like ours, thousands of worlds. Suddenly, the solar system was not the template, it was one example. Space became weirder again. Then humans discovered that the universe itself was expanding faster and faster. This was not expected. Gravity should slow the expansion down, but distant supernovae showed something strange. The expansion was accelerating. Scientists gave the mystery a name: dark energy. Not because we understand it, but because we needed to call it something. Around the same time, dark matter had already become unavoidable. Galaxies rotated too fast, clusters bent light too strongly. The visible matter was not enough. Something unseen was shaping the universe. Again, space was leaving fingerprints. Most of the universe was not stars, planets, gas, or dust. Most of it was something we still do not fully understand. Then in 2015, humans detected gravitational waves. Not light, not particles, ripples in the spacetime itself. Two black holes had collided more than a billion years ago. The collision shook a fabric of the universe. By the time that ripple reached Earth, it was unbelievably tiny, smaller than the width of a proton. But we detected it. For the first time, humans did not just see space, we heard spacetime move. That opened another kind of astronomy, the universe of vibrations. Then came interstellar visitors, objects from outside our solar system passing through. The first famous one was Oumuamua, a strange elongated object moving too fast to belong to the sun. Then Borizo, an interstellar comet. These were not planets we visited, not stars we observed from far away. They were pieces of somewhere else passing through our neighborhood. For the first time, the solar system had visitors from another star system. Space had crossed into our yard, and now humans are discovering the universe at even larger scales. Galaxies are not scattered randomly, they form a cosmic web. Long filaments, huge clusters, gigantic empty voids. The universe, when zoomed out far enough, looks less like stars sprinkled in space and more like a glowing spiderweb. And we are inside that one tiny thread. So, what was the order? First, we discovered the sky, then the sun, the moon, the stars, the wandering planets, eclipses, the mathematical patterns, then Earth's place in the solar system, then moons around the other planets, rings, new planets, asteroids, hidden planets found by gravity, the Milky Way as a sea of stars, other galaxies, invisible light, the afterglow of the Big Bang, black holes, planets around the other stars, dark matter, dark energy, gravitational waves, interstellar visitors, the cosmic web, and somehow, after all that, the map is still unfinished. That is what makes space different from Earth. When humans explored Earth, the unknown places slowly disappeared from the map. Mountains were crossed, islands were found, coastlines were drawn. Eventually, there were fewer blank spaces. But in space, discovery does the opposite. Every new discovery creates more unknowns. Find a planet, and now you have to ask if it has moons. Find a galaxy, and now you have to ask how many other exist. Find dark matter, now you have to ask what it is. Find dark energy, now you have to admit most of the universe is still unexplained. The more we discover space, the less finished the map becomes. Ancient humans looked up and saw lights. Modern humans look up and see stars, galaxies, black holes, dark matter, old light, invisible waves, strange worlds, and things we still do not have names for. But the feeling may not be so different. A tiny person standing under the giant sky, trying to understand what is above them. The first humans did not know what space was. They only knew it was there. And after thousands of years of discovery, rockets, telescopes, equations, satellites, and machines listening to space-time itself, we are still looking up and still finding more universe.